Forget the housework. Go make something. Hi. If you want even more Meccano goodness, why don't you check out my Patreon channel? And please like and subscribe and leave a comment below. I post updates in the community section, not only for this week's Patreon build, but also for what I'm currently working on. Thank you, and back to the build. Hi and welcome back. This week's build is for the dentist chair. Why on earth a dentist chair? Okay, it does have some playability, so maybe that side. Works nicely with a light from the Meccano M280 Lighting set, also from the mid-1930s. But of all the things to make, it did have me a bit puzzled when I first saw it. And of course, I just had to make it. My early encounters with our local dentists were not what you would call good. Well, in some cases. My father had an incredibly high pain threshold, so that he would go to the dentist and not have to have pain medication when he was having work done. His ability to withstand pain is something that I share as well, apart from tooth pain. When it comes to toothache, I am about the biggest wimp going. But I also had a father that believed that what he could deal with, his sons should be able to deal with. So when I was sitting in the chair, I had little to no pain relief given. Now, I don't think my father did it to be a sadist. The dentist I'm not so sure about. But I think all dentists must have that gene in them that enjoys torturing others. And let's not get on to hygienists. Really, do you have to use a pickaxe inside my mouth? My father never did have a good grasp on what other people might be feeling by his actions. His thoughts are always of the line of, if it doesn't bother me, you should be fine. And if I don't like it, why do you? Interesting discussions about pizzas, which I'd bring home from time to time, and he hated, and his homemade marmalade. I cannot stand the taste of marmalade. Still to this day, I'm not a fan of dentists. The childhood memories all too easily rise to the surface, and I'm still trying to find one that I can relax with and trust. The good part of going to the dentist was his large display cabinet of finished Airfix model planes from the Second World War era in 1/72nd scale. I could have stood for hours looking at the models. Today I have a large stash of unbuilt model kits in my modelling den. As I finish them one by one, I'm starting to run out of space to display the finished article. Basically, I need a bigger house. Dentistry is one of civilization's oldest medical professions, dating back some 7,000 years BC to the Indus Valley civilization. It's not until the Sumerian society that we get the first text regarding tooth decay and dentistry. The text in question is describing how toothworms are causing dental decay. It took nearly 7,000 years to disprove that myth. Dentistry was discussed in ancient Greece in the writings of both Hippocrates and Aristotle, specifically about treating tooth decay. The first book dedicated solely to dentistry was written around 1530 by Otzini Buchlan in Germany and called The Little Book of All Kinds of Diseases and Infirmities of the Teeth. By the 18th century, dentistry was becoming more organised and defined. The French surgeon Pierre Fauchard published his influential book, The Surgeon Dentist, a treatise on teeth, in 1723, and is credited as the father of modern dentistry. He also introduces the idea of dental fillings and false teeth. From his researches, he was the first dentist to identify that the acids contained in sugar led to tooth decay. So, dentists have been nagging us about not eating sugar for 300 years. The first dental college in the world was opened in 1840 in America, in Baltimore, called the Baltimore College of Dental Surgery. The college established a greater need for oversight of the profession, leading to Alabama to be the first state to pass a Dental Practice Act in 1841. It took another 20 years before the American Dentist Association was formed. Colgate started the mass production of toothpaste in 1873, quickly followed by the mass production of toothbrushes. So, where did the dentist chair begin? Before Pierre Fauchard's groundbreaking work in the early 1700s, including proving that sugar was bad for your teeth. Just thought I'd put that back in there again, seeming as I had been nagging us for 300 years over it. Patients would sit or lie on the floor with an assistant clamping their head while the dentist worked. Monsieur Fauchard began to set a new trend by getting patients to sit in a chair, preferably a rocking chair with a log placed under the runners at the front to recline the chair at a better angle. But it was an American dentist by the name of Josiah Flagg who was credited with the invention of the dentist chair. He took a standard Windsor writing chair, which is a wooden chair with a high back. It also has a tray and a drawer in it on the right hand side that was perfectly placed for the placement of instruments, etc. Dr. Flagg was one of America's earliest known dentists. He was born in 1763 in Boston. After fighting in the American War of Independence, where he helped his father in the Department of Commissary stores in Rhode Island, he began to practice as a dentist, with his first newspaper adverts dating from 1790. And while the idea of a chair might seem the logical step, especially a chair that is designed for the job, it was the first link in the chain, a chain that gets us to where we are today. The chair still survives. It is now in the Edward and Trudy Weaver Historical Dental Museum at the Kronberg School of Dentistry, Temple University in Philadelphia. The design of the chair didn't change for nearly 100 years. After the American Civil War, there was a move away from the wooden dentist chair towards that of all metal construction. And in 1877, Dr. Basil Manley Wilkinson designed the first dental chair with hydraulic power to allow for a better working position for the dentist. In a Jules Verne-esque fantasy of horror, the alien-looking dentist chair was designed. For another nearly 60 years, nothing much changed. Then, in 1940, the marriage of tools and a workstation to the chair happened. The Ritter Dental Company pioneered and designed several chairs. The design allowed tools to be both at hand's reach and, when finished with, they would automatically turn off. Without the groundbreaking design work carried out by Carl Ritter, this revolution in working practices might not have happened. The workstation of the dental chair was named the dental engine, as it provides power and water to all tools, as well as controlling the chair itself, and gives light. The design we have today began around the turn of the century, as metal gave way to different polymers that allow weight to be reduced and an improvement in cleaning and ease of manufacturing. The chain of links from a working practice of pinning your patient to the ground to a chair can only be described as an engineering masterpiece. It's the inspiration behind what engineering is. Each link in the evolution allowing the next inventor, designer and engineer to add their own innovation. This model was lit by the Meccano M280 lighting set. I have, over a number of years, managed to pick up a full set at last. Minus light bulbs. Well, minus working light bulbs to be correct. The set was designed to operate from a 4.5 volt flat pack bicycle lamp battery, which in the 1930s, the period the lighting set was made, was a very common battery. I have decided to opt for more modern LEDs powered by two 1.5 volt batteries. While I might want a more powerful bulb at some point, it's lovely to see the lampshades in use. At some point in the future, I'm planning a What's in the Box review of the M280 set. It is a lovely set. From what I considered to be part of Meccano's heyday. I wonder if at times the nightmare of being abducted by some strange, mysterious person, pinned to a chair and experimented on, is down to early encounters with dentists. After all, the face hidden by the reflective mirror to shine a bright light back into my face while not being able to escape is an early memory I have of encounters of this kind. Between the French and the Americans, the drive for better oral health has taken nearly 300 years. And maybe I should give up the chocolate biscuits I have when I build. But let's be honest here, I'm not going to. I always think you need a biscuit to wet the tea. But when you sit next in that chair, here are some thoughts for you. The professional standing in front of you works in a profession dating back some 9,000 years. Paul Revere, the famous American for raising the warning about the arrival of the British to the colonial troops, was a dentist. He was also trained by America's first dentist, John Baker. Paul Revere also knew the young Josiah Flagg, the inventor of the first dentist chair. The first recognised dental practitioner was Ray, an Egyptian scribe living around 4,800 years ago. The first African American dentist gained his degree in 1869. The first female assistant was employed in New Orleans in 1885. The first X-ray used in dentistry was in 1896. Edward H. Angle, the founder of the School of Orthodontics, also created the system of classifying crooked teeth that we still use today. That American brushing habits improved when soldiers returning from Europe after World War II brought European, and in particular French, brushing habits back to the United States. And all this knowledge that I never knew was attached to the build that I almost didn't do. Because after all, what engineering could there possibly be attached to dentistry? And my final point, don't forget to brush and floss regularly, and that sugar is bad for your teeth. They have been telling us that for 300 years. Maybe we should start listening.